like yesterday, but it's 8 years today. Still I see it whenever I close my eyes. Elders whom I had supposed were wise, breaking my heart as they take us and tear us
With
apart.
no family tradition,
not a penny to his name.
So full of wit and ambition, proud and confident,
so indiscreet,
swept off my feet.
Devil may care.
I'd willingly share,
Risking such failure the seas may entail. You're so lucky that we aided you to be persuaded to make this decision.
Oh, the terrible price of persuasion. Oh, how it feels on these family occasions, needed for nothing and heeded by no one. A cipher who's neither a wife nor a simpering sister. I simply exist for a useful assistant for indolent, selfish relations.
where is my fan?
And ask hand, neglected like some kind of pet being kept on short
Go
rations.
to the bull promenade ball.
And to stall and stand by the wall.
Why would she dance when she swung
In
off
this
from
age of
mines?
rebellion, who holds back the mob from the gate?
Society,
And the fear that Napoleon's armies determine our fate.
propriety.
It's her elders who see and will tell her how things ought to be. It's the enemy pride that won't surface our temperance inside, that will tailor opinion to hide any feelings your friends will deride.
If it's love, then the notion admits of no emotion, more than mild inclination, by raising one's state by a marriage advantageous to us all, with carriages and pages in the hall, counting for more than to marry the man you adore. Seems like yesterday, but it's 8 years today. Still I see it whenever I close my eyes. Elders whom I had supposed were wise, not telling me how I should live without
'Twas our
love you now.
duty to shield you when the stranger came to
Wife,
Was I so imprudent to yield to any danger in my path?
proper wrong.
I knew all along
terrible fit.
I'd have to submit.
Risking such failure the seas may entail. So lucky you
that we aided you to be persuaded to make this decision.
Ah, how precious your powers of persuasion. Ah, how much less was impending invasion needed to show me that his concentration might be distracted from serving the nation to sail with the tide, leaving his bride in a hurry back home to be worried and lonely among her relations.
Neglected like some kind of pet being kept on short
Was
rations.
to him, I did it for him.
I spoke to you as a friend,
How could I tell you would turn out so well in the
living
end?
in the past with advice.
Who can know to the last if the end will be nasty or
Know
nice?
What a terrible price you would pay.
We just tried to sway you as mother would say.
What would she say here with us today?
Undoubted her family's influenced her under duress. Without me convincing her, I have no chance of success. Her gentleness proved to be weakness when put to the test. As long as I live, I can never forgive her for giving into persuasion. I have sailed round the world, but have not found a girl to compare, black, white, or Asian. It's not easy to find a young woman as caring and kind, as she's witty and smart, so pretty and sweet that her name makes my heart skip a beat. But I'm not ready to admit defeat and surrender my search. Any girl between 15 and 30 will get me into the church. I've still one clean shirt I can marry, and if we don't tarry, manner mild and wise, sweet and gentle eyes. As long as some maiden will laugh at my jokes, no matter to her if I flatter her folks. As long as she's local and legal, then we can be
No
wed.
family tradition,
Not a penny to his name.
So full of wit and ambition, proud and confident, he sang.
indiscreet.
Swept off my feet.
Devil may care.
I'd willingly share,
Risking
such
such failure the seas may entail. So lucky that created you to be persuaded to make this decision.
Oh, the terrible pain of persuasion. Traces are seen in my face's complexion. There is no hope when fate has no connection. There is no soap that can restore the bloom for the drab little sister who nobody missed or resisted when she left the room.
Capable, sweet, loving, and neat.
Abandoned and dusty like rusty old tools. I'm useless and stuck on the shelf with the fools, because I foolishly let them persuade me to persuade myself that I must live by their rules.
Sir Walter Elliot of Kellynch Hall, Somersetshire, was a man who never took up any book but the baronetage. There he found consolation in a distressed hour, arising from domestic affairs. He read his own history with an interest that never failed.
The Elliots of Kellynch Hall.
Handsome man.
Elliots of
Any way
Kellynch
we
Hall.
can, man.
We Elliots of Kellynch Hall. The Elliots of Kellynch Hall.
Upon restoration of monarch to a nation, Elliots dwelt in Kellynch
Hall. Our due since 1662.
He's so vain
Unity of style and grace.
that lack of beauty brings him pain.
Property gives pride of place.
in propriety.
So the Elliot family philosophy, for a fine figure of a man like me, the blessing of duty is second only to a baronetcy. Thus, for my dear daughter, there is nothing that I would not do, for she's oh so very handsome.
And she's also very, very much like you. Miss Elliot of Kellynch Hall, fairest of all, although eldest of three, so fair a face, so style and grace,
She condescends to call us friends.
13 years I've run the hall, opened every ball, tried hard to make my father proud and take the place of mother who left our dear father the awful legacy of daughters, 3 daughters, not one single son and heir. She labored to provide to answer all her praise before
the
she
lady who
died.
left her dear husband so silly and vain to raise one lovely daughter. The other 2 he finds unforgivably plain.
Compared to my Elizabeth, the other 2 were hard to handle. As for looking at them death by night, they're hardly worth
The
a
youngest
candle.
Mary's married at least to neighbor Musgrove's eldest son.
She's born too nasty, spoiled little beast. She's grubby, coarse, and weighs a ton.
And Anne in the middle, an elegant mind and a riddle, a character so sweet, her family often find it easy to treat her like the rug beneath their feet.
All a flower at every dance, her manner like
In
significance.
her sweet lady Elliot, her mother, lives again. Perhaps it might be that which gives her family pain. It hurts them all. At Kellynch Hall,
And grown haggard lost her bloom.
It's like there's no one in the room.
She fell in love and lost her man.
she speaks as little as she can.
She never has a thing to say.
And no one's listening anyway, in any way.
True, sweet Anne's grown pale and faded, sin they ain't long years since we persuaded her to give up useless tears for an able man of doubtful worth. As if he were for her the only man on earth.
Say what?
She's not the only one suffering from neglect. Life's not what we expected.
And if our debts now must be collected, if long we'll stay in Kellynch Hall, our hectic domestic economics all must be corrected if we elect to keep the elegance and style. And no, we must not blench but smile. Dear Lady Russell, please help us retrench.
The trouble, Sir Walter, is so clearly due, the inevitable consequence of your being you. As an elegant host, your Kellynch Hall may shortly cost you all in all.
Time's running out, but there's no doubt if you just scan these plans of Anne, 7 years you'll be clear.
Oh, no. Sweet still. Oh. If we must go to live somewhere quietly, economizing without compromising our comfort and our dignity, if it must be economy. At Kellynch Hall, a style of life that's this forlorn as not hardly to be borne. We'd rather not be here at home.
To rent out Kellynch not is lost. A wealthy tenant pays all your costs. The war has ceased, and we the peace. To be thankful, prize-rich naval officers ashore. A wealthy admiral and his spouse could be the saviors of your house. The name is Croft, and visit often in the country. The wife has a brother, Captain Wentworth. I rather thought you had met.
Not a name that I should soon forget.
Well,
my dear, there's not to fear because we
won't be here.
Since now even wars can end, the Navy's throwing men, just like Captain Wentworth, back onto our shores to give their sea legs solid ground. All but to my sister and to me, it's a mystery of just where he went for the past 2 whole days. He has been nowhere to be found.
Both very charming, both very nice, though it's alarming everything's twice. I plight my troth, but I can't marry both. Pursuing either I may win, neither to make my choice. There's a bit of a hitch. One takes a chance, saying which one is which.
To us they release, to us they surrender. The finest men are daring, of which Mother England can boast. Navy raised and navy bred, on the waves or round the coast.
Which is which?
So open and upright,
Why not switch?
So admirable, so delightful, truly friends to the end. They love their fellow officers like brothers.
If they're the same, then why not play the
More
game?
worth than any military man on earth.
Which is which? Why not switch if they're the same? Play the game. That Louisa is decided. Begad, I like her pluck. She's not denied with any luck. Well, a wife's a wife, and if we don't agree, I'll just live my lonely life at
And so without more delay, let's be on our way and travel to Lyme Regis. Under with the Queen visiting the captains in Lyme.
Bring both sisters, bring their brothers, bring his wife. Her sister Anne's another reason why. This is all too much and more. For a simple sailor is as much at sea with such enthralling fine young ladies as he might meet upon the shore.
And November to remember, to be sure. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, let's go. How can you be so slow? Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, let's fly. The daylight's flying by. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, let us go. Because you never know. Hurry up, let us fly. When you may catch his eye. The wheel hits a bump and you see it in force. You can feel your heart jump when his knee touches yours. Hurry up, let's depart. For in affairs of heart, with a wink and a fan, the tilt of the chin. You would not think a cat to be so taken in. Hurry up, for we've not gone all day. For her to get her way.
It's exactly these complexities that drive a sane man back out to sea. If that one Henrietta regret hurting her young curate, then this one Miss Louisa teases flirting with me. Even I know that all the attentions I've paid her by all conventions and in mother's morals and unmotivated matrimony, unless I be a blackguard, cast aspersions on her, compromise her honor, there is no going backward, no backing out for me.
So then let us ride upon
this
the
twisted
time
time that leads us to Lyme Regis.
All the stars align to promise I'll find time in line. What matter if I flirt? Who could it possibly hurt? He likes me to be strong. How could that possibly be wrong?
Waves crashing on the shore, rolling back to sea once more. Even though the highest tide will ebb away and leave uncovered every single secret thing that we may try our best to hide.
No matter what they say.
She lies so still and pale in the darkened room. A cold marble cup saint on a churchyard tomb. This close to death, we hold our breath. The end may be near, bending to hear. Her breath is all too faint. Mid the hush and gloom, fading away, senseless she lies. Pray for the day she opens her eyes. The loved ones have all come. They'll say their last goodbye.
Wait, see how she rallies. Now she's coming.
Eyelids flutter.
Captain Wentworth, she looks to you, and you must run. I must just run away, for I just cannot stay. I'd be waiting by her side, whether she had lived or died. Dead or murderer, I'd be lived. She looked to marry me. Sweet Louisa need must jump, so she landed with a bump. Just because I didn't catch her won't disqualify the match. Oh, sweet Louisa, so eager and so true. 'Twas my advice that told you what to do. Don't be persuaded, be happy and be firm. To please me she, determined to be firm and reckless, almost broke her neck, and yes, I'll run. For she had a way, we'd be married today, as if her not being dead was a reason to be wed. She's been resolute and brave, now 'tis I who must behave. Now that she's awakened, I must take my leave. Leave all that flattery behind me, to seek some refuge where none will find me, not even she who haunts me still. For and now and forever will be all that a wife could ever mean. but from the wrong kind of life. I shall run for my life, gallop through the countryside, caught in knots myself had tied. I must travel far and wide to escape my stupid pride. For Louisa's health I pray, as long as I am far away. I just can't stay so far away. At my brother's house I'll hide, though 1,000 miles I'll ride, vainly looking high and low for love that I already know. Was a fool to tarry then, dear Anne, but I won't be again. What a fool I still should be, with such a reason to be free. With such a reason to be free, and is my reason to be. I just can't stay to love another day after day, damned with or without her. I know what I must do. I'll go to Timbuktu, and there I'll build a miserable mud hut on the wild abysmal shore, and never dream of dismal love or bloody England anymore, or the torture or misfortune. Now what the deuce a note for me? Well, I'll be damned, what could it be? My sister writes, gone overnight. We're having a fine time in Lyme. Your Miss Louisa's feeling fine, that Captain Benwick, your young friend, by reading poems help her mend. They'll be spliced before he sails. I'll write with more precise details. Can it be that I am free, that Louisa's jilted me? Could it be that I am free? That's exactly what it means to me, that I am free.
Off to Bath to rejoin your family. They'll bore you and ignore you, but at least you'll still have me.
Back to Bath, to that stupid shallow round of rumors that old Cupid should be found around the town.
Although you show some common sense and would be single, social pressure is immense that you should mingle.
Here in Bath, we'll clear the way for you, to assist or to resist, to ensnare a man or two.
First of all, procure very fashionable dress.
Making sure they'll rent for less. Select a wardrobe to impress, and feathers to finesse.
Thus, prepare for paying calls. To us, the outlay will be small, compared with upkeep at the hall.
No hosting endless holidays for countless Musgroves when my sister Mary's in-laws came to call. For her knows to for one and all, for her knows to for one and all.
Of course, our set accepts only the best, to separate us from the cringing coarseness of the rest.
Only
Elegance will pass the acid test for the idiots and their exclusive guests.
As for me, Bath suits me brilliantly. Despite the water's nasty taste, it's just my cup of tea. A chance to enhance my large acquaintance with the latest publications and elegant events.
My family, at stale and stupid private evenings, all stagnate while shunning public shows as second rate.
Dreadful multitude of ugly women we plummet women here in Bath.
No theatre or assembly balls for us, and scarcely any books at all.
As for the men, they're even worse.
They only venture out
By
to
far
find
the worst, as if they're cursed.
Except you, sir, quite the reverse.
Ah, Mrs. Clay, you do not say, you flatter me. But in my day I ranked among the first, and even Anne is mending while she can. She's not so thin, her cheeks are skin improved in every way.
Patrons in the pumping room to take the waters, matrons jumping those with whom to make the daughters. When in Bath, do as the painters do, mind everyone and find the one who'll do the most for you.
My heir presumptive Mr. Elliot is called, in his most assiduous endeavour, to beg his former fault may be forgiven and forever.
Alas, I have the uneasiest sensation that such effusive reconciliation with this long estranged relation as Papa's heir to his title and to
Such
Kellenhall,
delicacy.
we're well aware he might be
Ah,
likely to
ooh.
displace us all.
Such solicitude, we Elliots can rise above a young man seeming rude, and excuse his youthful years' ineptitude.
How delightful that at last I meet Miss Anne. I profess myself your humble servant in any way I can. Simply to converse with such a deeply charming person captivates a sentimental gentleman.
My word, can this be Mr. Elliot? On short acquaintance it's too soon to tell yet. Yet everything that's good is united in his understanding. Correct in all the things he should, inquisitive but not demanding. A discourse so discreet, you surely could not meet a more amiable, estimable man.
And tell me all about your trip to Lyme, where I caught a glimpse of you amidst that terribly trying
If he
time.
but knew, reminding me he truly risks finding me but dreaming of another man than he. When in Bath,
When in Bath, when in Bath, when in Bath.
When in Bath,
When in Bath, when in Bath, when in Bath.
When in Bath.
when in Bath, do as the bathers do. Coquettish glances linger as they wrap you round their finger, while Papa's gout is curing and the daughter's out alluring. With her devastating glances, she brings romance to the dancers if by chance.
When in Bath, do as the bathers do, for drinking vile waters is the test you must get through.
When in Bath, do as the doctors say, to purify your liver, drink a gallon every day.
If you're of a certain age, you mustn't tarry. Sulphur water's all the rage if you would marry.
When in Bath, please do just as we say. Not what we do, for what we do is just not right for you.
You know I'm no matchmaker, but such a catch a girl must take her time to know her mind. Not only to be dutiful, but any match more suitable may be too hard to find.
I grant for the foreseeable, there's no man more agreeable, for he adapts to any trap society's devised. He's ever so appealing, but with no real depth of feeling. How could anyone ever trust himself to the perfection of a man that has suited? Who from the start?
If you would wed, then use your
You
head.
must be sure that he's not poor.
No matter which, if she is rich.
Find a bride with time and tide, you must not fail if you would sail.
When in Bath, to be too proud to wed our fortunes not allowed.
When in Bath you're far above the throwing of your life away for nothing more than love.
If you're of a certain age, you mustn't tarry. Sulphur water's all the rage if you would marry.
When in Bath, do as we say,
Not what we do's are right for you,
you'll find your other way.
Can't help seeing that in you your lady modesty has being. Your quiet, wise, and eloquent demeanor would mean our Lady Elliot lives again in Kellenhall.
When in Bath, please don't laugh. I often dream of Kellynch Hall.
I too dream, if I seem too ungrateful to be thought of at all. Surely it's my sister upon whom he will call. But if Mr. Elliot insists upon me, a reluctance to roam makes it hard to resist the tragical twist of the idea of never, oh never to ever return to my home.
When in Bath, do as we say, do as we say, not as we do, do as we say, not as we do.
whose grief was thrown in pale relief against your fearsome fall, some flood of tears. Oh, how you wept to think I would be kept so far away from home for years and years.
Then luckily in you I found a friend, so good and kind and faithful to the end. When you left school in married life to go, I never dreamt that you'd be brought so low.
My Charles was such a charming gentleman, who'd for me and his friends do all he can. If it weren't for their extravagant ways, I'm sure that we'd have been happy all our days. A husband of whom I was ever so fond, I buried him accustomed, luxury and affluence gone. Debts harried him right down into his grave and then beyond, leaving no child who cares or connects me, just financial affairs to perplex me, unaccustomed now to all the finer things of life. When a darling husband makes a widow of his wife, then of course there is the dismal misery that this crippling rheumatism is to me. When I first arrived in Bath, I couldn't lift my head. They brought me to the hot baths, carried life on my bed. But in this house I've had a happy change of luck. The sister of the landlady, redoubtable Nurse Rook. She showed me how to make the best of it. When I could move my hands, she taught me how to knit. Even though these days my legs don't move, see how fast my handicrafts improve. Now I'm making all these cunning little things. Nurse Rook can sell her patients for anything it brings. She opened hearts and purse strings at the well-to-do, so I can pass the proceeds on to poor folk in the neighborhood. From one who has the need to still do good, to still do good to those less well off. There still are those less fortunate than me.
We're lost in direst poverty, I find that blessing elasticity of mind, that power to turn the weight of ill or wrong, to raise oneself where only good is found.
Since I can't walk out and take a look, my eyes and ears are now Nurse Rook. Call it gossip if you will, she's always sure of something good to tell. She reads human nature to me like a letter, the kind that makes you know your species better. To me, who live so very much alone, it's such a treat as when one feeds a dog a bone.
No doubt she'll use intelligence and tact, so you can picture how her patients act, not only of their folly and their pain, but from their fortitude we've much to gain. Heroic tales of trial and self-denial.
I suppose
never. But you are still young and clever. You can find out a way to live, a way to love. I'll find out a way to love another day. No matter what, we are the same. No other man shall have his way, for I am his, though we're apart, with open heart. As much as my affection is his forever. Neither sickness nor sorrow at being apart seems to threaten tomorrow with closing your heart. As it's no secret that hope is the key to an open heart, promise to never, never, never part. In heaven we will never part. In heaven we will never part. Heavenly ending, mending a broken heart. Did you see him walking with Miss Anne? Her cousin, Mr. Elliot, what a handsome couple.
What a handsome man. You know he's to inherit when her father dies. Only just a baronet, but property entitled. If Miss Anne will treat him rightly, to keep it in the family be his plan.
So attentive and agreeable, to argue would be feeble. It's utterly foreseeable. He could,
He would.
he should, he
should.
should.
He would.
He would,
He should.
If he would.
If
If
he
he could.
then he should. Who am I to resent her, or prevent her from inheriting her home in ladyship? But
Don't you think their romance is so sweet? When finances completely balancing so neatly, walking down the street.
Of course, though, if Sir Walter leads another to the altar and is blessed with boyish issue, 'twould leave him disinherited, which everyone excepting Mr. Elliot would wish.
There's a lady
She'd like to be a lady.
living with them, known as Mrs. Clay, companion to the elder sister Elliot.
A cheerful widow, simply déclassée.
So plausible and placid, her insinuating manner reassures him as it flatters old Sir Walter's vaunted vanity.
There's a lady
She'd like to be a lady,
living off them, known as Mrs. Clay.
an
Timid admirer of Sir Walter.
Clever wench who knows just what to say.
When a man's as handsome as Sir Walter, he takes good care to stay out of the sun. His youthful stance, his vigorous complexion, his head of hair declares him ever younger than his years on earth. His blissful state belies his date of birth. He almost never ails or bilks his tailor. Where he gets his forlorn facial palate is the sworn secret of his valet. Do not ask him, it's no use. He can be a bit obtuse, or is it just a goose?
Must be facing
time.
Time is racing. Must be careful, mustn't miss by chance. Confounding Mrs. Clay from conjuring romance. Ways to knock her out of play for good, as in a game of croquet would, and if I could, calling at all hours, bring bouquets of flowers, diminishing her powers, I would.
He should.
He could. He could.
He would.
I should.
He would.
If I could.
Then he should.
If he would.
Then I should. What can I invent now? To prevent her from inheriting the Holden ladyship.
Watching Mr. Elliot unaware, one can see the artful machinations there behind his placid air. Last evening at the concert, provoking Captain Wentworth into a jealous outburst. And yet it made a thrill a bit to think that he would care for me. But I see I'm not free, he's not part of my heart. In time I hope to be reasonable and wise, but not yet. When I see the two men side by side, there is no comparison, honest felt affection or artifice and pride.
It's her home and she would be the lady. He's her cousin. Cozily at work in the family circle, it's the hellish Elliot tradition. Well, no doubt.
Time is running out. The captain's jealousy may just express the quintessential mystery, the misery of happiness, the happiness of misery, the misery
Why, look up there across the
I
street.
wonder how they jested me.
I wonder what they have to say.
Young Elliot and Mrs. Clay.
Sworn enemies in every way.
Conspiring cannot come to good.
Wouldn't if they could.
I can listen no longer in silence. You pierce my soul.
I can listen
half
no
agony,
longer
half
in
hope.
silence. You
Tell me
pierce my
not that I
soul.
am too late,
I
that
am
such
half
precious
agony,
feelings
half
are
hope.
gone forever.
Tell me not that I am too
I
late,
offer myself
that such
to you
precious
again with a
feelings are
heart
gone
even
forever.
more your
I offer
own.
myself to you again
Dare not
with
say
a heart
that man
even more
forgets
your
sooner than
own.
woman, that
Dare
his
not
love
say that
has
man
an
forgets
earlier
sooner
death.
than woman,
I have
that his
loved
love has an
none
earlier
but
death.
you.
I have loved none but
I must
you.
go, uncertain
I
of my
must go,
fate.
uncertain of my
A
fate.
word.
A word, a look will be enough to
decide
decide whether I enter your father's house this evening or never.
Never.
When one is a young and single, well-to-do young lady, being carefully brought up inside her father's stately home.
Traveling beyond the distance driven in a day is just impossible without a careful chaperone.
Without a chaperone, a
girl can't go alone.
So she stays at home and dreams of a lover who never will come again, yearning for the freedom that this feeble world gives only men.
It drives me wild that any idiot child can join the Navy at the age of 10.
I want to see, I have to be, don't laugh at me, it's only that I want to see the sea, the silver sunlight sparkling on the waves. I want to feel the freedom of breezes salty with spray, scrubbing my face, my body be blown all over the place, my hair ribbon scattered down the wind to be lost without a trace, while I stare at the place where the sea meets the skies, in that limitless space where the sun will arise, just the impossible blue, impossible blue. Oh, give me a skiff or a yacht or a yawl. I want to sail out and experience all, not a dutiful daughter in a beautiful cell, but life on the water, riding the swell. out one's life a Navy wife at sea. No telling how delightful that would be. Standing by his side to see the world, our flags unfurled, a cozy nest where he could rest.
Wed a Navy man, nobody from nowhere, Mary Ann. Face the color of mahogany.
Healthy open air, in all weathers we will find it fair. As long as we're together, we shall never have a care.
Live your life at sea. Have you thought about how it will be? As the only woman with 450 men in a leaky, creaky den of depravity and vice. Oh, you'll have it neat and nice, oh, no doubt, in a trice. Standing by your man, you'll do everything you can, wherever you may roam, to make him feel at home. Without privacy or aid from a nurse or from a maid, you'll be sharing captain's quarters without elegance or order, surrounded by an ocean that is constantly in motion. Every day you risk your neck as waves come crashing across the deck, cold in winter, hot in summer. Who will help you when the babies come home?
Live your life at sea. It's the only way you'll ever get to spend your lives together. For the safety back on shore we found it wasn't worth the worry, and the only time I pined was that time I got left behind. Since the anguish of not knowing is far worse than that of going, far more comfort on a warship than a rumor and in gossip. I would rather die in battle than be tortured by the prattle of those Navy wives at shore. I'd far rather go to war and face the enemy at sea.
To be a wife at sea, to live one's life so free. How else to live in such felicity?
As long as you're together, you'll brave every weather.
And be wise above it all, through every rise and fall.
Of course, upon occasion there's a squall.
Still a life at sea is the finest man and wife could ever lead.
While I stare at the place where the sea meets the sky,
You'll find who your match is down below the hatches. Find your perfect mate before it's all too late. However far you roam, you'll be each other's home.
Watching the frigate bird follow the ships as she flies, soaring for happiness far beyond words, a white that's too bright for my eyes. She will know she has lived when she dies. See, our life at sea.
Life at sea, life at sea.
Oh, but so free.
Life at sea, life at sea.
After all these years, and in spite of all my doubt and fears, I'm deucedly confused. You'd embrace the life you once refused.
I am not 19, and in all the years that came between, those I let persuade me to leave you then did not to need me.
No, never again. Suffering such pain, let them live another's life, keeping loving hearts apart, shedding tears when all these years I could have been your wife.
The union of husband and wife in heart, body, and mind is intended by God for their mutual joy, their help and comfort given one another in prosperity and adversity. And when it is God's will
Then, gentlemen, we see that we can all agree that ladies of worship is not good naval policy.
Gentlemen, do you not see? I must disagree that it would disagree with me to see the sea, the sunlight sparkling on the waves. I want to feel the freedom of breezes, salty with spring, scrubbing my face, my bonnet be blown all over the place, my hair ribbon skittered down the deck to be lost without a trace, while I stare at the place where the sea meets the sky, in that limitless space where the sun will arise, just the impossible blue, the impossible blue. If it be on a sloop or a great man of war, though my body be cooped up so long, so far from the shore, as I sail by his side, oh, how my spirit will soar. Oh, to be a navy wife, how I hope I won't be seasick all my life.
Well, if that's our worst of trouble, then the rest of life's a bubble. For with obstacles like these, our life is floating on a breeze to sail. As we sail the seven seas to live our life at sea. So complicit in felicity, knowing life can't be always charming in its harmony. But as long as I am by your side,
if there's danger on the ride, I shall never run and hide.
unafraid of married bliss, I shall ask no more than this, that your family desist from persuading you that it's too soon to persuade the blessed moon to turn the tide. Sailing with the tide, with your arms around your bride.
Sailing with the tide, with your arms around your bride.
Whatever the world makes of it, your beloved always standing by your side.
Such felicity,
as I thought I'd never live to see. For the perfect mated wife, I'd have waited all my life. It was fated to be she, to be there to share our life at sea.
My lords, fine ladies, and gentlemen, in case you haven't heard,
the author gets the final word.
If you have a tale to tell and no one wants to read it, take your life in your hands and demand that it read as you need it to be. Write yourself free by some magic, see tragedy comically. So it happily ends as Cupid intends. We're writing the past to be happy at last. It's all up to you how you
Though
end
doubtful, it will turn out just that way.
The author has the final say.
If you have a song to sing and no one wants to listen, just you hum to yourself like a bumblebee caught in a jar on the shelf, buzzing away day after day, trapped in a single condition, scribbling on scraps with a hidden in laps. Privacy's not in a spinster's position. Hope there's a room with a desk that you can use. Free if the family has nothing left for you to do. Burn the toast, turn the sheets, sew a cap for a merry niece. Snatch a quiet moment to write a line or two.
Two maiden ladies living with their mother depend on the charity of their wealthy brothers.
Can one really call it home when there's little or nothing to call one's own?
Millions of spinsters live and die and note each day. But an interesting author could try and her away, so that for once it all ended splendidly.
Sailing away on the sea with the love of my life eloping with me, riding away with the man whose magnificent manner graces the land.
Avoiding your fate with the fool, too dead to make sense of your ridicule. Letting down gently the dot, to witness to Mr. with thunderbolt.
Avoiding the fool with ridicule.
Evading the dolt.
But who is the fool?
Use your wits and have some fun. But when your laughing wit is done,
and past his wisdom, who laughs last?
The authoress has her own way. If you have a life to live and no one lets you lead it, while you watch and you wait, show the hypocrites all that you hate about them. Put the weight of your wit in a book on their shelves they won't recognize when they read it themselves. Correct your remarks to be clever and clean. Neglect to remember the shabby and mean.
Squeeze each turnip till you can bleed it.
Even poets and princes will read it.
Though you stand alone to dance and cannot find a partner,
No one looks for your hand, but they'll pay for your books with the handsomest men.
Marry your heroines clever and
some
kind.
part of your soul, the heart of the mind,
Will fade with the chase but live on in print and laughter, to be read happily ever after.